All right, welcome back, everybody, to the OSB podcast. Our boy Scotty is a little incapacitated right now. He's at home, so I've been given the honor of being the maitre d' of the day. But we still have him with us. He's just not in studio. So first, I'm going to welcome the big kahuna, the operator of the ship, Tommy D.
The Titanic.
And we still have Scotty M. He's just at his lug.
I think Vegas got the best of Scotty.
It did.
It must have.
I can't run with you, Big Coon. I can't run with you in Vegas.
Yeah,
you got
well,
the best of
listen, I kept you out to 5 in the morning. I thought that was pretty generous.
You know, I used to do that about 30 years ago, but I can't keep up with those young legs of yours that wanted to drag me everywhere in Vegas.
Yeah. Well, listen, we had a good time, though, huh?
I'll tell you, it was great. We got a lot accomplished out there. We met some interesting people. Vegas is definitely the marketplace when it comes to the gambling mecca in this country, I think, by far still. And, we had a great time. Had great seats for the Vegas Knights, Toronto Maple Leafs, first row right behind the bench.
That was amazing.
Thanks to our good friends at Caesars. They gave me their bunker seats. So the big owner and myself enjoyed that. Ran into a good friend of mine out there that happened to take us out afterwards for dinner, and we had a good time. Did a podcast show.
Yeah, I wanted to do a shout out. We did our show at the Action on the Action Junkie show, Sticky Paws Studio in Vegas. Class act, state of the art studio. So we had a really good time out there.
Hey guys, thanks for the invite.
Well, we invited you,
I
man.
did. I got the invite. I got the invite.
You say you're not a Vegas guy, but I like Scotty's saying, if you're in this business, man, sports betting right now has gone to a level in Vegas where you got to get out there.
Well, when you guys were out there, I was doing, as usual, my homework, and I pulled up some numbers on sports betting in Vegas. I'd love to read and see what you guys think. So,
go ahead.
Nevada casinos overall achieve a $1.2 billion revenue mark in the month of January. Now, here's the funny thing about it. That revenue decreased in Vegas, but increased in Reno big time. So Reno really pulled the money. So just to give you guys an idea, 55% increase in revenue for the city of Reno.
Wow.
From year over year.
I think I know why, because Vegas kind of limits a lot of, even though it's the Super Bowl, they'll take big money. But I've heard from insiders that Reno takes huge action. I mean, they'll let you go in there and pound whatever you want, some of those places. So that could be a reason for that, too. I don't know.
Very well could be. So Reno, 55% increase. Vegas actually had an overall 3.8% decrease. The decrease coming, roulette fell, blackjack fell 24%, roulette fell 47%. Casino slot revenue was up. And interesting enough, our field overall for the state of Nevada, sports betting brought in about $65 million in revenue for Nevada.
Especially if you think about it, Teddy, a game like that would had such a marquee buildup. Let's say, Mahomes going for back.
Well, no, this was February. I mean, this was January. So what they're saying is because the Super Bowl was in February, a lot of the people that would have went in January held till February. So when the February numbers come out, we should see an increase year over year.
But how about this one? Talking about the Super Bowl, the big game, 2/3 of the bets in this country was placed in the black market, which says, the offshore market, the local market.
But that's been going on since the time, since we've been in this business.
It's still vibrant, man. And some of the reasons why offshore operators, and I'm not condoning that, they'll offer different props. They'll offer more lenient juice. And
better lines.
And you know what? That's not going away anytime soon. It's not going to go. I mean, you got states like Texas, California. People still have no place to really bet. So interesting stuff that people are still going into the black market, and it's going to be tough for the legalized books to compete against that.
It's never going to change, though. We all know that, because people rather not put the money up and do it in different ways, even though it's not the right way, than have to go to the windows or put the money up ahead of time. They'd rather play on credit, and that's going to go on no matter what, as long as there's credit shops anywhere.
Absolutely. And just want to clear disclaimer, guys, we do not condone betting that way.
Exactly.
But we have to talk about facts on this show.
Of course.
And the facts are the facts. 2/3 of the people, that's a lot of money, right? And to add to what Tommy said, better lines with the offshores, lines of credit, which this is a good question for both of you guys. Do you think there will ever become a point where the legal, licensed, regulated United States sports books will offer lines of credit to certain people?
There's talk of it. I heard of one book might be giving out some type of credit card to bet through. It would have to go through regulations. The feds could get involved with that. But, the market's going to have to evolve. If they want to be competitive, and here's another one, will they accept Bitcoin? Bitcoin hit an all-time high, 62,000. Now, we could
almost all time.
Right. We could talk about that for a whole nother conversation, but, it's very competitive out there. And I think you will see down the road some type of credit possibility. And, there's always going to be a guy with a laptop in some third world shithole country taking action from someone.
Hey, now.
Hey,
come on.
listen.
Hey, they're going to start calling you Donald Trump.
No.
All right,
Or a.
Take it easy over there, Big Kahuna.
I'm just saying it the way it is. All right?
Scotty, see what happens when you're not here? No, but here's the thing.
I'm telling you.
Here's the
When
thing.
you let one guy miss one guy, one of the stooges takes the day off. The other two are getting a little crazy.
Well, where do you think
Where
do you think these places are located? I mean, I'm not going to start mentioning countries, but I mean, whatever.
Right.
So here's the thing. There's things they can control and there's things they can't control. Right now, they can't control giving out lines of credit, but what they can control, I'll give you a perfect example. Probably my favorite sports book, BetMGM, they don't let you take alternate spreads or buy points on college basketball games. So now,
None of them?
none of them, not even the big ones, zero, none,
Really?
do not let you do that. So, I mean, I know that these CEOs of these sports books aren't sitting here watching us probably, but if they were, we deal with players every day. We talk to players every day. We play ourselves every day. And we're trying to tell you guys what will help you bring more revenue in is by giving more options. Very important stuff.
Oregon won't take college sports, period. I think New York State will not let you bet any New York team.
4 or 5 states like that they won't let you bet in-state colleges.
So listen, other places, jurisdictions are going to let you do that stuff. So the jury's out where it's going to go in the end.
Certain states have a lot of schools. Like Virginia has a lot of schools that people don't even think of. Like George Mason is a Virginia school, so you can't bet on a Virginia team.
Also, you know what is one of the biggest, they said would be one of the biggest draws? The political elections. I don't believe the legal books could take it. Offshores already have odds up for the presidential, and that is a big draw to bet that stuff.
Yeah, you could bet all kinds of political results.
You could bet crazy shit. So yeah, I mean, let's see in the end where this all goes.
Now,
I think.
Go ahead, Scotty.
No. It's always going to be like that. We've been around the offshore, knowing that industry for over 20 plus years, being in our world. So, these things have been offered. It's nothing new. I mean, this stuff's going to continue, and unless there's something that changes. But all these things that you guys are mentioning, which is good information. It's not new. It's going on and on every year, whether it's the elections or giving better numbers because people are playing on credit versus putting their money up front and things like that. I mean, it's good to educate the people. There's different things going on out there, but at the end of the day,
Well, I disagree with you. I think it is new because the legalization is new. And when these
legalization,
when
yes.
these operators came in, these operators, I'm telling you right now, they did not expect 66% of the money being wagered to still be black market. I know that for a fact because they're doing everything they can to try to eliminate that market. So this is news for them, and they're going to act on this news. I'm telling you right now, they're going to, hopefully they try to make internal improvements. Rather than just sicking the government on people, hopefully they try to make internal improvements in their betting, in their platforms that draw more people in.
Well said. I mean, I am familiar with both markets, and I will probably have to say some of the offshore operators are ran more efficiently than the regulated books because they took guys from old school methods. DraftKings, FanDuel are hiring kids with history majors, and they brought them on board. What do they really know about sports betting? So it's very debatable who's the management of these regulated books. Do they really know what the hell they're doing in the end? A lot of people say they don't. So, once again, time's going to tell where this all goes.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, not to change the subject on you. What about, did you hear the news? Shohei Ohtani, the $650 million man, secretly got married. The Dodgers and the players and the manager didn't even know about it. They found out like through the grapevine, I guess, quietly. So
he's an interesting character, a very private guy.
Well,
and whoever the
$650 million man off the market.
Hope he signed a good.
He said he married a very nice Japanese girl that he's been seeing for like 3 or 4 years.
Hope he has a tight prenup. I certainly didn't.
Well, well, let me tell you something. See, here's the difference. I don't think, and I could be wrong. I don't know the guy, but just knowing what I know about Ohtani, I don't think he would marry one of these gold digger athlete chaser types who I think he.
You mean that stuff goes on?
These athletes are
only for you, the big owner.
Yeah. Well,
these athletes are targets. I mean, they got.
Big owner backs all those.
Well, what's his name? Tyreek is now battling a second. Not Tyreek. I'm sorry, the Dolphin play.
Tyreek Hill. Yeah.
Excuse me. Now battling a second paternity or baby mama type of situation.
He has a lot of off the field drama. It sucks because he's such a great player, but he's got a lot going on.
What about your boy Mattress Mack putting $1 million on the Houston Cougars plus 750 to win the national championship?
So this is an interesting one, Tommy. First of all, I wonder where Mattress Mack places his action.
Caesars.
Okay. So here's the thing, guys. If you don't know who Mattress Mack is a Houston mattress store owner. His name's like Jim McAvee or something. McInvale.
Right.
But he is a big bettor. He makes multi-million-dollar bets. He gets on the news for it. But he is also a massive, massive philanthropist. This guy gives away millions of dollars. He uses his mattress stores as shelters. When Houston had the big hurricane and everything shut down, there was flooding everywhere. He shut down all of his stores and let lower income people come in and use his stores as shelters. So the Houston community and the Texas community surrounding love Mattress Mack. Black, white, yellow, Hispanic, everybody loves Mattress Mack. But he created a little controversy with this video he made here. The people that know him and love him had no problem with it. But people that never, the only people that really know Mattress Mack are sports bettors or people that live in Texas. Besides that, you might not know who this guy is. Producer Ben, pull this video up. It's pretty funny.
Now that. Did you get chopped and screwed by a competitor who said they were going to hook it up, then went ghost when it was time for your delivery? Here at Gallery Furniture, we stay knocking on doors like Pimp C and Little Kiki. And when you cop from Gallery Furniture, in 4 hours or less, our delivery team is going to show up and show out because we don't do it for the clout. This is what Gallery Furniture and we are all about. We can't leave you riding dirty on that hand-me-down sofa. We need you to shine so clean with that new from Gallery Furniture. Text me, Mattress Mack, your triple OG partner, from the north side at 281-844-1963. I'm going to plug you in with $600 off your purchase of $2,000 or more, because a real hustler like you got to be living lavish. And if your credit is all up, you know I run it like Chameleonaire and Slim Thugger. Pull up to any Gallery Furniture location. We're going to fight to get you financing like when I fought Muhammad Ali many years ago, the greatest of all time. Let's get it.
Was he really a boxer?
I don't think so.
So people were upset about this video that don't know him, but obviously, like I said, people that know him had absolutely no problem with this video. Really,
unfortunately, I couldn't hear it, guys, but it's all good.
It's all good. You saw it. That's good.
Well,
enough.
you know what his shtick is? He's a master marketer. He bets these games, Texan teams. He hedges. He allows people to purchase his furniture, and if he wins those bets, he lets them ride for free.
Yeah, he gives them huge discounts.
He gives them so you got to put the money up front. But if he wins, like if Houston Cougars wins, you're getting a lot of money back from your purchase.
Yeah.
So he draws a lot of people in to purchase his furniture mattress. So that's his shtick. Why he makes? I mean, he's a big bettor, but he ties it in with his furniture business.
And a lot of his big bets are on Houston and Texas type teams.
All he does is bet. I think.
I'm sure he bets other ones, but the ones that make it on the news, the $1 million ones.
Well, he had big money on the Astros in the World Series and all that, but that's what he does. He ties it in with promotions.
Yeah. So he definitely knows what he's doing. He brings in a lot of business, and he does a lot for the community. So that's really cool to see. One more thing that I want to touch on, and this is another controversial thing. I know Scotty's not here. We're doing all the controversial stuff today.
I don't know, man.
So
you guys are scaring me.
60 Minutes did a report on sports betting and addiction and how the apps are just all up in your face. Because remember, guys, everybody knows this, but for those of you who are new to sports betting, back in the day, you put your bet in and you went about with your life, and you didn't have it right here in your hand, in your face, 24/7, flashing you alerts and flashing you a bunch of stuff. So it was more like you looked at the games, you made your bet, and then that was it. Whatever happened, happened, right? That was the old style of sports betting. Now the new style is odds boosts and all this different stuff. And experts, but I don't really know if they're such experts, are raising all these alarms and red flags. And, you know, I have my opinions on this, but what about pornography? Pornography is right here in your face. TikTok, girls dancing half naked, 3/4 of the way naked. No one's complaining about that. So I think people are getting on the case of the sports betting a little bit too much. I think they should just lay off. What do you guys think about this?
Well, I mean, who was I talking to the other day? The Hard Rock app down here, they're constantly sending out alerts of boosts. You could bet this now. I mean, they're getting aggressive. They're getting aggressive. I don't know if,
guys, what's wrong with it? It's they're giving you opportunities. If you want them, great. If you don't, you don't have to take it.
The funny thing is,
I think it's great. It's like going into an ice cream store. You want to buy vanilla only, or do you want to have other options?
Well, the thing, I go to these conferences. I'll be up the one in Jersey in May, SBC.
We'll be there together.
Yeah, we'll be there together. And they're always talking about
player protection.
Player protection.
They actually have a whole day on it.
Right, a whole player protection. All right, and then they also talk about predatory affiliates might be a little aggressive with their marketing, but they're sending out boosts every 30 minutes to bet a game.
I spoke with Scotty about this a few days ago when we were discussing topics, and I actually, after thinking about it, I'm coming more to Scotty's side on this. I think that, number one, you have to be 21 or above.
Right.
You are an adult. This is America. You make your own decisions.
Yeah.
Trying to coddle people all the time doesn't always work. They're giving you the boosts. They're giving you the offers. You either want to take them or you don't. Bet with your head, not over your head. But at the end of the day, they're not putting these offers in front of 16-year-old kids. They're putting them in front of adults. And I agree with Scotty. If you want to take advantage of it, take advantage of it. But here's why I bring it up. Because our style of betting, if you work with us, it's going to bring you more to that old school style of betting where
Right.
you're just putting in your 1 or 2 picks and then you're going about with your day. So if you're getting overwhelmed with all these alerts and these boosts and everything, and you don't know which ones to take, which ones not to take, just come and work with us, and I think we'll get
100%.
we'll get your head on straight.
Well, it's also like, I happy hour. A bar's going to say happy hour, ladies' night. They're bringing people in, free drinks, free shots. Kind of the same thing, right?
Exactly.
It's the same concept.
Yep.
I get so many emails from so many different businesses every day with specials. This offer, that offer, clothing stores for Saks, Neiman's, Macy's, you name it, all the department stores, restaurants, sports bars. They're all giving gimmicks to get people in there.
Yeah, they're doing
exactly.
They're doing 2-for-1 drinks at Chili's. Do you see a 60 Minutes episode about people leaving Chili's too drunk to drive? No, I mean, it's going to happen. There's going to be people that drink too much, but I just think that they have a stick up their butt, certain people, about sports betting, and that's why they're trying to put all this negative press out there.
Well, Apple, everyone knows Apple, just launched an odds feed. So Apple's looks like they're somehow going to get involved in this sports betting game now. And they mentioned DraftKings, but there's no click over yet. So there's rumors that Apple and DraftKings is going to get some type of partnership where you can click over and bet at DraftKings.
Well, here's what I'm thinking about that. There's a bunch of different camera apps out there, but most people use the Apple camera app. There's a bunch of different messaging apps out there like WhatsApp and stuff, but most people probably use iMessage or have an iPhone. So I think just beyond the live odds feed, like, have you ever used the app, The Score?
Constantly.
Right. So that's where I check a lot of my scores on and stuff.
Right.
And I think their goal is to, instead of people downloading the Score app, they just want people to use I don't know what it's going to be called, but let's say it's called the Apple Score app. And they just want people checking odds, checking scores, checking statistics on an app that they create.
Well, I speak to a lot of people in the know, and what the big people are saying is Amazon, Facebook, Apple, they're not going to be operators. Somehow they'll be involved in this industry, but they're not going to be taking the bets. And it's interesting. You could see like Apple might have an odds feed. They'll just send it to DraftKings and probably charge them hundreds of millions of dollars. But I don't think the big players are going to become operators in this business. Moral reasons, corporate reasons, whatever, they'll be more somehow involved, but they're not going to say, Apple Sportsbook, come bet.
And it's also like the gold rush. In the gold rush, the people who got the richest were the ones who sold the tools, not the ones who were actually digging the gold. So,
But well said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, it is March 1st today.
Unbelievable.
We are officially in the month of March, which is pretty much, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Tommy D, because you are very ear to the ground on this type of stuff, but I think it's the biggest sports betting month of the year.
Well, we just came from Vegas, and they said there's nothing like being in Vegas in March Madness. I hung out at the Circa one day, and I got friendly with one of the VIP managers, and if you don't know the Circa, really state-of-the-art place, but you could rent these little couches for the day, sits 4, right down in the sports book, and I had one for the day, and he said where the exact couch I had sold for $6,000 Super Bowl Sunday. For March Madness, they're going to go for about $1,500 a day. But there's nothing like March Madness in Vegas. It gets totally crazy, and
there's nothing like it unless you lose in the first week, and then you're done.
Then you go home on a Greyhound bus. But I got some odds here just before I came on, and these have been out for a while. UConn is 5.5 to 1. Houston 7 to 1. Purdue this to win the championship. Purdue 750. Arizona 1,300. Tennessee 1,300. North Carolina, on and on. FAU, which is local here in Boca, is 10,000 to 1, 100 to 1, and UNLV is 50,000 to 1. That'll the highest dog 500 to 1. But you think there'll be another FAU this year? that pops up.
I mean, there were two last year, FAU and San Diego State.
Yeah.
They were that was interesting. I think when we get closer, let's see.
Miami too wasn't a big favorite going into it, and they made it to the Final Four. University of Miami.
Yeah. So
They
you
were-
had
they were-
two Florida teams, two local teams in the Final Four last year.
Crazy last year. FAU almost did it. But, yeah, there'll always be surprises with March Madness. There'll always be teams that get knocked out right in the first round, and there's the dark horses, and we can't wait for it. It's going to be the next 5 weeks actually is going to be crazy. Conferences start up soon.
Conference tournaments, a lot of good stuff coming. I have some games that I have little breakdowns on. So guys that are watching this right now as we speak, the lines are not out yet for these Saturday games, but we're still going to try our best to make some predictions here. The first one and these are all, I'm looking, you guys know that I like to do the small schools and the things that people aren't looking at, but I'm looking at 4 big ranked games. Florida versus South Carolina is the first one. That's the early one. You got a big offensive team with Florida versus a big defensive team with South Carolina. Florida's 13-14 against the spread. South Carolina's 20-8 against the spread. They're the 4th most profitable team in college hoops. The line predicted is going to be South Carolina -1 at home. South Carolina's 10-3 against the spread against the SEC. They have a slow-paced defensive team versus a fast-paced Florida offensive team. I'm going with South Carolina on the money line on this one at home. Have you guys noticed, I think we talked about this before, but road teams in college basketball right now are getting destroyed. I mean, it is not pretty for road teams.
I had South Carolina the other night as a dog. I think they played
Texas A&M?
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, and they beat them.
Yep. Interesting stuff here. Interesting
A
stuff.
A lot of unranked teams have been doing extremely well against ranked teams as well this year. Probably more so, like we talked about a few weeks ago. A lot of these unranked teams, like I said, on any given night, quality, a decent team can beat a decent team. I mean, it's plain and simple, and it's proving it throughout the whole entire year. When you're seeing these teams that have decent records that are unranked playing against teams that are ranked with decent records, and they're finding ways to beat them.
Yeah, especially
on their home court.
You just took the words right out of my mouth, Scotty. I was going to say, especially at home. It's crazy. So I'm rolling with a bunch of home teams this Saturday. I'm rolling with Baylor over Kansas. Baylor's predicted to be favored by 2.5 here. I'm rolling with Creighton over Marquette.
Wow.
This is an interesting game because both of these teams played UConn recently.
Yeah, they're playing, both of them playing real well right now.
Here's the thing. Creighton destroyed UConn by like 15-plus points, and Marquette got destroyed by UConn probably by around the same 10 to 15 points. So these are two teams that are kind of they're both going to go to the tournament. They're both ranked teams, but they're kind of playing second fiddle to UConn right now in the Big East. And it's going to be interesting to see which one. These are basically the second best teams in the Big East after UConn. It's going to be a really good game. And then probably, I think, going to be the best game of the day tomorrow. It's actually a night game, 8 o'clock Eastern. The number 1 offense in the SEC versus number 1 defense in the SEC. Tennessee going to Alabama. Scotty, I know you have some ties on Alabama. What do you think about this one? Do you have any opinion on this one?
I was looking at this matchup. I thought it was one of the better matchups. Obviously, number 4 ranked team against number 14 in the country, Bama. The number, I'm really waiting for that number to come out to get a sharper indication.
Everyone's saying it's probably going to be Alabama -2.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tight number. I mean, no doubt about it. Should be an excellent game. Just based on what you were saying, obviously, that these teams can match up extremely well against one another. They can definitely defense it. They can run and gun it. I'd like to know the total on this game. Unfortunately, I don't have a real number to put out there, but I think if Bama's going to put themselves in the fray, I mean, really give themselves like a key contender type of status, this is going to be a huge game for them. Tennessee's ranked 4th. They've been playing extremely well. 22-6 against 20-8. Bama's 13-1 at home. Tennessee's a decent road team. They're 6-3 on the road, which is a pretty good number, 66% win percentage. Their record against the spread, though, is 3-4-1. But I'm thinking that Bama's going to. I would lean towards Bama in this matchup. I just think that this is going to be like their all or nothing kind of game to get notoriety, to get into the big dance with a high ranking and a higher seed. And I think by pulling an upset against Tennessee, that's going to put them in a great spot.
I'm in complete agreement with you. I think that Bama scores 91 points a game, which if anyone's not really tightly following college basketball, it's a lot of points for college basketball.
There's a lot of points.
And they got a great spread record at home. They're 10-3-1, 13-1 straight up, 10-3-1 ATS. And again, this is like a focus game. Remember how coaches get their players motivated, like we try to motivate our clients, is like coaches try to motivate their players. They're putting seeds in their head. They're saying a lot of things. And that's a tough place. Tuscaloosa is a tough place when that crowd is working in your favor. The visiting team, they're gonna hear a lot of noise. So I think a lot of factors favor Alabama, even though it's gonna be a tight line and it's probably gonna be a close game. But I just think somehow, some way, Bama pulls it off.
Hostile environment. That's the term they use.
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't know if it's just hostile or it's just the one. I mean, I guess you could call it hostile.
And I'll tell you another thing. I'll tell you another thing. If Tennessee cannot afford to have these extended periods of time without scoring, because they will get lost in the sauce, and next thing they know, they're going to look up at the scoreboard and they're going to be down double digits because this Bama team is coming to score. I don't care how good the Tennessee defense is, this Bama team's coming to score. And I think a little bit of a revenge factor. Tennessee beat Bama in January. I think a little bit of a revenge factor comes into play. Now you're coming to our house. Now we're going to show you a little revenge for what you did to us 2 months ago in your house.
Of course, that comes into it for sure. That's what they call using your ducks in a row to get your players prepared for a game like that. I'm sure they're going to use that as a big mention. That they got beat already. Let's not let them come in our home and beat us. Let's beat them up.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, a lot of good games this weekend.
There's a couple of really good games. Moving, if you don't mind me moving on.
Let's hear it.
Really good matchup on the West Coast late at night. I mean, these two teams. I mean, you can't ask for two teams any hotter at this stage of the game. Gonzaga against St. Mary's. I mean, talk about teams that are playing outstanding at this point in time. Gonzaga was my big play last night, and they absolutely just took over the second half against San Francisco and dusted them, won by over 20 points. The game was a 1-point game at halftime, but they've been winning. They've won like 7 or 8 straight in a row against St. Mary's, who's won like 14 or 15 straight. This is going to be another tight game, but I just feel, for some reason, from past history or whatever it is, that Gonzaga is going to keep themselves in this game. And I don't know the line. I'm assuming it's going to be a short price. It could even be like a 2-point game, 1.5, maybe 2, 3, 2.5. I don't know. But I like Gonzaga to win this game. I just think they made a big turnaround recently, and St. Mary's is playing great. Don't get me wrong. But I like Gonzaga in this game. I just think that they're moving. This coach is unbelievable for Gonzaga. And he just seems to find the right time and the right place to get that team moving in the right direction. And I just think that they're going to show up in this game and get the job done.
So I was telling you guys I found this new site and I'll give them a plug. I don't know who the hell they are, but I give them a plug. It's called barttorvik.com. And apparently in the college basketball world, they are pretty well known for putting out advanced lines and being pretty accurate. They actually have St. Mary's as a 5-point favorite in this game. Wow. What is that? I know you love numbers, Scotty. What does that say to you?
Well, that scares me then, to be honest, because if they're making St. Mary's, I know they've been dominating. I mean, they're 24-6. Gonzaga's 23-6.
Oh, hold on, guys. Lines are dropping live as we speak.
Look at that.
St. Mary's is -3 in this matchup.
All right, close.
Well, that made sense to me. I was looking at a number of 2, 2.5, as I mentioned. I figured they would be a small favorite. Again, 5, I would be scared. I might even stay off it because then I'm thinking they know something that makes sense to be that, heavy of a favorite. But I like a number of 2, 2.5, or 3. I like the dog in this game. I really do. I think Gonzaga can play with them. I already know that for a fact. And I just like the coaching edge I feel for Gonzaga at this time of the season. So I'm liking that dog with Gonzaga, definitely.
The Florida-South Carolina line is out. We have South Carolina -1, Florida +1, which is exactly what I thought it would be. That's going to be a tight game.
Creighton's -3.5.
Creighton's -3.5. So the predicted line that we gave is 2.5. So 3.5, pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I still like Creighton in this one.
I see St. Mary's on FanDuel -2.5.
Okay, so
over Gonzaga.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I figured that game would be about 2, 2.5. And I like the dog. You got to make them home. Listen, they won 14, 15 in a row now, I think, after last night. They're on their home court. I mean, they got to, you got to give them a little home court advantage, even though Gonzaga is great. They've always been a great program for God knows how many years. But I just think for some reason, the way they're playing right now, they're going to show up in this game and find a way to win it.
So a lot of people look at that game, Scotty, and they say, well, why not take the money line?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'd rather take 3 points and run 2.5, maybe even buy it up to 3.5 and have 3.5 points in my favor than make the game an even line and I pick up an extra $1.20.
That's a great point.
At the end of the day, I don't know if that's the value's enough for me to do that, to swap it 3.5 points going one way, buying it up at -125 maybe versus giving 3.5 points back to grab maybe plus 120.
Plus 130, probably something like that. And I agree with you 100%. I agreed with you, but I asked the question because I want to bring up a point to the audience that you don't need the plus odds. Security is better. And there might be people that view it differently, but I view it as security and having a good line is better than shooting for the moon and shooting in the dark. And a lot of those times, this will come and they might lose by 1 or 2 points, and you're going to be very regretful because you didn't play it the secure way.
Yeah, you don't want to make foolish decisions just to grab extra odds and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, if you're a long-term player like we are in this every day throughout the whole year, you really want to look, like you said, you want to zone in and pinpoint the best plays that you feel you have the edge with versus just chasing after juice, trying to make some extra money. To me, that there's no real logic in doing that. If you're in it, like I said, the way I'm thinking, if you're just looking to grab extra odds to have extra odds and you're giving yourself more of a disadvantage to get those odds, that's entirely up to you. But I don't think at the end of the day, in the long run, that's going to help you.
Agreed. Any more games?
As far as the Florida game goes,
there we go. Let's hear it.
The Gators have been playing excellent, very quietly, excellent basketball. But this is a tough team. This South Carolina team is, I don't know, overachieved, if you want to call it, or what the case may be. I mean, their programs recently haven't been that great, but they've been steady in the top 20 teams in the nation pretty much the whole year. That's going to be a tough game.
Gators are a 1.5 dog, 1.5 points.
Who's that? Florida?
Yeah, they're getting 1.5.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a tough call. I'm gonna leave that to you, two experts, and I'm going to take a pass on that game altogether.
Yeah,
too tough for me.
Going with South Carolina. I mean, the Gators are the #1 rebounding team in the country, but South Carolina's 41st in opponent rebounding.
That is a soft number, though, too. That is, I'll tell you, the number, from my standpoint, the way I look at games, I would have thought if South Carolina was right, they would be the same kind of margin, a 3.5 point favorite, because the Gators aren't really known as a huge road team. They usually get points, and they're playing a team that's actually got a superior record and ranked, obviously ranked higher than them. And they're making the line like favoring basically the home court advantage is going out the window.
Mm-hmm.
And they're actually giving the Gators the satisfaction of being the stronger team based on a -1.5 spread in a game like this. So maybe there's something there with that number that gives the Gators a shot in this game to pull off not even I call it an upset, but to pull off the win here. Because if South Carolina was like 3.5, I would think that would make them a little more stronger play, in my opinion, based on my work. But being the fact the line is so low, maybe the Gators is the move in this game.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I
called
mean, what's your thought? You think the line should have been?
Yeah, I think the line
game?
should be like 2.5. It's the fishy line theory that we always talk about, and I think it's important for people to look at that. It does seem like
The Gators don't have a winning record on the road. They're playing in a place that the team is 13-2. They got a winning spread record at home. The Gators are only 2 and what are they? I'm just checking numbers here. They're 3-5 on the road. Yes, they got a decent spread record. They're 5-3 against the spread, but they've probably been getting more points than 1.5.
Hold on, Scotty. I'm looking at that picture. Go back to Scotty. That picture in the background. I see horses running in the reflection.
Yes, I got action going, guys. What do you think? I got action going.
Who do you got on the 6th at Gulfstream?
When I went to Vegas, I picked up a lot of lessons from Tommy D, and he always said one thing to me: if you're a realtor, it's location, location, location. When it's in our world, it's action, action, action. And I got action right here going on while I'm on the show.
Yeah, we can see the race in the Spider-Man.
And the 4 horse is clear by like 3 lengths, and they're not gonna get them today. The 4 horse just won at Laurel.
Well, we got some big races coming up. Florida Derby, obviously.
I'm working on getting us a really good guest, one of the top jockeys in the nation. If I can pull it off through a friend of mine to come on our show closer to Derby time. This guy's a recognized jock. I don't want to mention names because I don't want to let anyone down, but if I can get him on, it'd be great. Talking about the Derby and his long career as a top jockey in the U.S.
That would be a good guest there, Scotty.
We definitely have to bring our boy Barry back on for the Masters and the big golf tournaments coming up.
There's negotiations with Matty Betts to get him for one of the big UFC fights. I ran into Matty the other night at the Coconut Creek Casino. He's doing some really good content.
He knows UFC like the back of his hand, huh?
He knows UFC. He looks for long shots. So yeah, there's a lot. And then also, what starts in 28 days? Baseball.
Baseball preseason's already going on.
Baseball is a very good betting sport, and we're going to talk about how to bet baseball in the next week or two. A lot of people.
Hey, I just got to mention one thing before we take off. I know it's getting late, but how about Father Time, LeBron James, guys? I mean, it's kind of unreal with this guy. I mean, look what this guy has been doing lately, carrying this Lakers team at almost 40 years old. He's 9 points away from 40,000 for his career. He carried them the other night. I don't know if you saw what he did in the fourth quarter against the Clippers. And then last night, again, takes them and finds a way to just get them past what. I mean, this guy is just unbelievable. I've never seen a freak of nature like this. And, other than Tom Brady, in the NFL, I've never seen anything like it. A guy this old, not that he's old in Father Time, but the bottom line, sports he is playing at a level like this. It's incredible.
Yeah, we'll see if this is his last year.
Oh, no way.
He's good. I mean, I have a lot of things I could say about LeBron James. I'm not the biggest fan, but he's good. He's very good. I just think he could have had such a better career if he just carried himself a little bit differently. But that's another story for another day.
There you go.
So listen. That's the conclusion here. We appreciate you guys coming on. Hopefully you enjoy. How did I do, Ben, as the Mater D?
Hey, you did pretty good.
All right.
Let's see how we wrap up tonight.
Yeah.
Well, I will say
you got a dessert menu?
I don't want to replace Scotty. I hope Scotty's back here next week in this chair doing this job because it's a tough job for sure. But that being said, thank you guys for watching. Now, before we wrap, Tommy, where can the people find you with all your hot picks?
Well, I've been on fire. Instagram is the #1, OSB_sports. YouTube, OSB-sports. And my website does have that odds feed up there, guys, where you could check all the different numbers, onlinesportsbet.com.
Onlinesportsbet.com. Scotty, where can the people find you and your amazing
Well, I
picks?
say something first. There's a rumor that Tommy loved Vegas so much, the big kahuna, that he's buying up some property out there. So I'm expecting a nice place to come visit real soon in Vegas, if that's true.
Well, I tell you the truth, I'm a one-man show, so I could take the show on the road and go out there, maybe July, August. Let's see.
All right, I'm ready. I'm gonna come out there and be ready to be shown around again. Hopefully, I won't get sick like I did this time. But thanks, Teddy, for the intro. Bottom line is, guys, you can find me on TikTok each and every day, putting up free pics, videos, content, whatever we're doing. It's up there and it's free. Bottom line, free. At SM Picks, Picks, and on Instagram, SM Sports Picks, Picks. Check it all out. I put it all out there. I try my best. We don't win them all, but we try our best.
That's what it's all about. Speaking of not winning them all, I got to plug myself here, right, guys? So
Go ahead.
our free plays on YouTube and Instagram, 8-1 in the last 9.
Wow.
60, 27, and 1 in the last 88. So we're doing a cool thing. We're tracking our first 100 games of the year to see where we end up, and that's where we are so far, 68. I don't give as many games out as you do every day for free, but we give out anywhere from 1 to 3. We gave out 3 last night. And the way we do it is we put some on YouTube, and then we'll put some on Instagram, and some on both, but sometimes you have to be on one or the other to get them. YouTube.com/@thesportsprofits, Instagram @the_profits_pick. And guys, to find this show, all podcast forums, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Online Sports Bet, OSB, you can find us. Thanks for watching. Thank you guys for letting me host this one. I'm not wanting to do it again, but it was a pleasure. We love you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Very good, Nick.